Okay guys, so another update on fitting this V8. So I have just got back from the metal finisher, and he has given me my finished metal there. So you can see the cross member's been powder coated, and if you go down here, my SD1 sump, and it fits absolutely perfect. Just fits in there perfect. So I've got my block of wood here, leveling it out. I've also centered it as well, so it's bang in the center of the car. Look over here, the gear stick is nice and happy where it lives. So next stage is to spot weld the mounts. I also got these powder coated too. Probably didn't have to because I'm gonna chop them off. So this is the part that goes against the block, and there's a support there as well which goes against the block. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut across here and across there and have just this piece, and then I'm gonna modify these sections to mate up with the original 2.8 mounting spot. So I'm going to keep the 2.8 cross member the same, and I mean, the reason being is because, you know, I don't want to modify the forward parts too much. I'd rather modify bits that are going in, and it also means if in future I want to, you know, fit a 2.8 or a 3 litre or a 2.9 Cosworth, I've got all the bits still and they're all intact. So that's that. Other parts I got back from the finisher are, well, here's the these are the 3.9 engine mounts, these two that came off the Discovery, and this is the other side of the other engine mounts. Now these originally came off a 3.5 litre, I think it was a Land Rover 90, so I mean they look Land Rover too, they've been built in someone's shed. And here are my drum backing plates. So as you can see, look really nice. So what I'm doing is, remember the axle in the last few videos, it was left basically with the new 2.8 rear gears, which is going to suit a low revving V8 really nice. Have a nice motorway cruising RPM. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to put some silicone sealant around here and tap these back in. If you're fitting longer wheel studs, now is the time, because once the backing plates are on, you cannot get longer studs in here. So there you go with that one. I don't have to fit longer studs. I'm going to fit some JBW wheels which mount real well. Don't need to use spacers or anything. So standard wheel studs are going back in, which you can get on with the plate in place, so you don't have to pull the half shafts to put the studs in, which is an absolute bitch to do. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. I'm gonna get backing plates on this, stick that in the shed because it's done, and work on the engine mounts. Alright, so here's the axle finished, finally. As you can see, I've orientated it like this with the handbrake up there, and then, oh sorry, the handbrake here. Here's the master cylinders and things. So I can work on now putting the brake lines on. So what I've done was I tapped them back in, I put some silicone sealant around there, and I put some copper grease in the threads, because these get some serious abuse with, like, you know, water and weather and things. So hopefully the copper threads, the copper paste on the threads will help me if I ever need to take them back out again. So I torque these down, and it's working well. So I'm going to stick this in the shed and forget about it. Maybe put the brake lines on at some point, so I can call it finished and get the cylinders in there, and we should be good. The drums, I've also had them zinc plated at the metal finishes, but he's not finished with them yet. I think I need to get them skimmed. So they're also coming back. Here's the rest of the stuff I got from powder coaters. So strut top, the spring top thingies, and servo brackets, stuff like that. Here's the anti-roll bar, which looks nice. He's done a cracking job on that. Looks really good. Okay, so you see here that I've started to chop the old engine mount up a little bit with the grinder. Just cut it off at the welds, nice and smooth. So what I'm going to do now is take this out, and I'm going to attach it to the car and reference. I think it sits this way. Reference where I need to put these. So I'm guessing I'm going to need to shorten these legs here, cut them nice and straight so they sit flush, and then basically just move them as in, you know, how they need to be moved, and then we should have a pretty decent engine mount. And all I've done is chop up the old pair, and you can see here that I'm gonna have to cut quite a lot of these, and I'm also gonna have to reposition how they sit because that angle isn't right. But yeah, let's carry on. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I have cut off all the bits. So I've got a couple of legs there. I need to cut these off as well, and then I should end up with these flat pieces. Just get this out of here. So the idea is now to flatten off a bit more. It's still a bit warm. Is to bob these onto here like that. See there, and attach it to that plate there. So I'm pretty close. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I've got a template which fits in here perfectly fine. So you can see there's the angle against the mount versus the completely 90-degree mount on the engine side. So this little paper template, what I've done is I've sat it on top of the old leg, and I've scribed the new angle, and I'm just going to get on the grinder again and try and make a nice accurate cut along there. So okay, yeah. So there's my plate which goes on the cross member, and here are my two made up pieces. So I'm going to tidy up this face so it's a good welding surface, and also around these areas here. So you can see it mounts something like that. And then I'm going to get the welder out, and I'm just going to tack them on with some spots, and then I'm going to get a proper machine shop to seam weld them for me with a big welder that can penetrate this sort of thickness. It looks about 8 mil maybe. It's quite thick. So yeah, that's the next stage. So I'm going to use a flappy disc on this surface here, and then I'm going to crack out the welder. Alright, so here we have the finished product. That side engine mount and this side engine mount all in place. It's just nice and slack now, no magic. So it's sat on there. They're only spot welded on, so they need to be properly finished off, but they look great. Basically I ran out of bar, so I used some 10 mil by 60 mil wide bar, mild steel bar, Got it off the internet delivered for about 12 quid. Nice and cheap. So right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna have a go, seeing as I've got the welder out out of practice, I'm gonna have a go at repairing this section. So what I've done basically is I've taken a piece of paper and matched this to the piece I need, and then I've traced it onto a piece of flat steel. You can see here in my test welds that I did earlier, getting a bit better. So I'm going to cut this out now. I've got a pair of tin snips and I'm going to attempt to tack it in place. Alright, so I've made my my panel. I've given the area a spray with some of this high zinc galvanizing, just to seal the inside before I place this on. I've also added it to the back side of this, so when we turn this around, you should see that it's, you know, going to be a good fit, hopefully, for here. You can see the scars I've made into the surface of that with the angle grinder. Whoops, that's my bad, but let's see how this goes. Yeah.